So this is kind of my project sled. I like to ride the 175 because it's the traction that I'm after, but it's also the easiest one to make light because when you do a material change like carbon fiber or on the snowmobile, it makes the biggest difference as well. So this was 570 pounds for a 175 turbo. Let's lift it up and see what we got. So 539, that's right full of fuel, right full of oil, spare belt, all the tools, 2 links brackets, ready to ride on the snow. I'm not really too worried about dry weight because you never ride them in the showroom. So I'm only interested in what it weighs when it's on the mountain. So the first thing that I did was we changed the shocks. I like the air shock just because of the bottoming resistance it has. And now with the internal bypass, it has such a nice ride quality in the start and the mid part of the stroke where you spend like 70% of the time anyways. And the beauty about the air shocks is you can ramp up the spring rate or put enough air in there so it has a good spring rate and actually lose the sway bar. And I've played around with this on and off for several years. In the coil spring applications, pretty much stick with running the sway bar, but in the air shock package, you can definitely get away, avalanche. You can definitely get away with running no sway bar. So for the Fox air shocks, it's important to set the air pressure in the ambient temperature and where you're gonna ride. Tip the sled over on the side like this, and you drain your air pressures on both the main chamber and the e-ball chamber. And what I've found with no sway bar, I run about 150 pounds in the e-ball chamber and 100 pounds in the main chamber. And then I delete the sway bar. I'll run it on clicker 3 on the trail, and then as soon as I get off trail, I turn it to clicker 1. It still has a great amount of bottoming resistance, and it still rides high enough in the stroke with those air pressures that I can get away without having the sway bar. So you save, pound-ish there, and every little bit helps. The other part that's cool, this was a pretty easy fix, was the Diamond S titanium silencer. And the reason we went with the Diamond S was really the craftsmanship, and they are the lightest. It's like a work of art, and honestly, it's a little bit louder than stock at idle, but once you're above engagement, you'd be hard pressed to know that there's anything on there. It sounds really close to stock. So that's nice because I actually hate loud sleds. The other jewelry in this, or the biggest part of the jewelry, is the Nextech carbon skid. So this is something we've been running for, I've had it on and off for probably 10 years, different pieces of the Nextech stuff. This really has been is a big part of the puzzle as far as losing the weight. We'll pop it out here in a second. We'll get it on the bench so we can have a little closer look at it, and we'll put it on the scale so you guys can kind of see for yourself. But check this out on the wall. This is kind of a loose graph of what we got going on with this sled. Full of fuel, oil, spare belt, all the tools on it, links brackets ×2, all the foam, everything as delivered out of the crate, full of all the liquids, including coolant. We're 570 pounds for 175 turbo, ready to ride. And on this one, we're 539, so we're 30-ish pounds lighter. You can see skid frame, say 16.8. We'll do the muffler. It's off memory, it's about 12 pounds. Some of the other little trinkets we didn't talk about were some of the hardware pieces, so it's something we're experimenting with. I have different pieces of hardware, bolts, and a couple other little trinkets that we're working on. We'll show you those in a bit. Let's get the skid frame out. So we have the carbon fiber skid frame out of the 175, and we have the stock skid frame out of the 175. This is an expert with the rear clicker shock So this one is 48 pounds exactly. So we'll pop that guy off there. We'll put this guy on. And this guy is 31.4 pounds. So that's a pretty significant weight saving, and that goes with all the mounting hardware as well. With this Nex-Tech skid, we don't have scratchers in it because we're doing a test. We're running these Vespal sliders. So these are actually from the Skidoo parts catalog, and you can see in here it's a really hardened insert that goes inside the slider. It's super durable, and in low to medium snow conditions, we can get away without scratchers on here. And you can see this set of sliders, actually we ran for 2 years, so 2,500 kilometers last year and 1,500 kilometers this year. And there is a little bit of wear right at the front where the wheels are, but without measuring it and having to take a guess, I'd say you're probably 40 thousandths of an inch or about a millimeter. One of the other advantages of the Nex-Tech skid is the 9-inch rear wheel. So when backing up, man, it makes a huge difference. These are 7 3/4 inch wheel, the stock diameter, and these ones are 9. So it does make a fair bit of difference. 175s obviously back up the best. You know, the shorter the track is, the better they back up with small wheels. So the Nex-Tech skid definitely is the crown jewel when it comes to the weight loss program. At 16.8 pounds, that's a huge weight savings. That's on a 175. It might not be for everybody, but it is a super cool piece and it works awesome. This one has 4,000 kilometers on it, and it looks like pretty much the day we put it in. So it's way more durable than you would guess, and we beat it, and I've had no problems with it. It's been an awesome piece, and I look forward to enjoying it some more.